What day is it? The date!
12th May, Thursday.
What year?
Hey friends! Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a true cinematic icon, the Terminator, 1984. But this isn't your usual sci-fi retrospective. We'll be peeling back the tech-laden surface and re-examining the film as a full-fledged slasher. Yes, like Halloween or Friday the 13th. If you love unexpected takes on classic films, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments. Who's your favorite horror villain? Freddy, Jason, Michael, or the Terminator? What happens when you strip away the cyberpunk aesthetics and dystopian timeline from the Terminator? What do you find beneath the polished surface of science fiction spectacle? The answer, perhaps surprisingly, is something rawer, darker, and far more primal. A full-blown slasher horror film in disguise. Let's talk genre. The slasher is one of the most enduring and rigid horror frameworks. Think Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. You know the rules. A silent, implacable killer stalks a vulnerable group of people, picking them off one by one. The final girl trope. A lone, usually young woman who survives through wit and inner strength, faces down the monster in a brutal climax. Authority figures fail, weapons falter, and the killer just keeps coming. Sound familiar?
I'm here to help you. I'm Reese.
Now rewatch The Terminator with that template in mind. At the heart of the film is a predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800, who fits the slasher mold almost too perfectly. He speaks little. He never runs. He wears a cold, impassive expression. He kills indiscriminately, with terrifying efficiency, and he cannot be reasoned with. He's not a man, he's a machine. But not just any machine, he's a mythic figure of death. Like Michael Myers, like Jason Voorhees, he's a force of nature in human form. And who is his prey? Sarah Connor, an everyday young woman with no military training, no special destiny, at least not yet. She's a waitress, working double shifts, forgotten by the world. But through the course of the film, Sarah undergoes a radical transformation. From helpless target to battle-hardened survivor. She evolves into the final girl archetype, emerging from the crucible of fear and violence as someone reborn. The structure of the film itself mirrors a slasher blueprint. There's the ominous opening, the arrival of the killer from the shadows, the early murders, brutal and sudden, the growing realization that no one can stop him, the sense of claustrophobia, isolation, and inevitable confrontation. Even the setting, cheap motels, neon-lit alleys, rainy city streets, evokes the gritty urban horror of 1980s slashers. Let's not forget the soundtrack. Brad Fiedel's now iconic score is industrial and relentless, pulsing like a mechanical heartbeat. It doesn't just accompany the action, it intensifies the dread. Every clang of steel, every synthesizer growl underlines the cold inevitability of the Terminator's approach. And then there's the failure of institutions, another classic slasher hallmark. The police can't help Sarah. Her friends can't help her. Society itself has no answer to this unstoppable killer. She's alone, except for Kyle Reese, a soldier from the future who serves more as a messenger than a savior. Even he admits, the Terminator absolutely will not stop. He's a weapon wrapped in flesh, unstoppable, inescapable.
DN 38416, assigned to protect you. You've been targeted for termination.
The scenes of violence are filmed with the stark brutality of horror. The Terminator shoots a woman named Sarah Connor point blank because she happens to share the name of his intended target. No remorse, no hesitation. Later, he slaughters an entire police precinct in cold blood. It's not action movie carnage, it's horror movie annihilation. What truly sets the Terminator apart, though, is the psychological texture Cameron weaves into his film. The dread is not just physical, it's existential. This is a world where the future is literally trying to erase you. Death isn't just inevitable, it's mechanical, logical, programmed. And that's where the fear lies, the loss of agency, the collapse of meaning, the sense that we are no longer writing our own story. Even the cinematography leans into horror. Shadows dominate the frame. Faces are lit from below. Mirrors, corridors, silhouettes. The visual language is borrowed straight from Halloween and Psycho. There's a voyeuristic quality to many scenes, a sense that Sarah is always being watched, always hunted. And Arnold himself, this is arguably his most terrifying performance. Not because of any over-the-top theatrics, but because of how eerily underplayed it is. He's a slab of flesh with dead eyes. When he speaks, it's monotone. When he moves, it's methodical. There's nothing human to connect to. And that's what makes him so terrifying. Like the great horror villains before him, he becomes a symbol, not of evil, but of inevitability. At the end of the film, when Sarah finally crushes the exposed endoskeleton in a hydraulic press, it feels less like a victory and more like a reprieve. The monster is dead, for now, but the future remains unwritten and the threat is far from over. And that's the kicker. Like any good slasher, the Terminator leaves us with a sense of unfinished business. Evil may be defeated today, but it will come back. It always does. The sequels would go on to explore this idea more explicitly, but even here, in the original, the seeds are already planted. Fear doesn't end, it evolves. In the end, the Terminator is not just a masterclass in sci-fi storytelling. It's a genre blender, a horror film dressed as an action film, hiding a slasher's heart beneath a chrome exoskeleton. It speaks to our primal fears with the clarity of a scream in the dark. You are being hunted. You cannot reason with it. You cannot escape it. You can only survive it. So next time you revisit this classic, don't just watch the explosions or the time travel mechanics. Watch the shadows. Watch the fear. Watch the final girl as she becomes the warrior. That's not just science fiction. That's horror at its finest. Thanks for watching, friends. If this deeper look into the Terminator gave you a new perspective, hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree that it's a slasher in disguise? And what other genre classics would you like to see re-examined in future videos? Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And remember, the future is not set, but great film discussion is inevitable.